Here we have a Voron Switchwire. This was formerly an Ender 3 V2 that I've converted over to the Voron Switchwire. This is a project that I found on GitHub. I think it was by like Boo Boo Kefalos or something. I should probably actually just link it down below so that you have the project there. But if you want to do a conversion for your Ender 3, Ender 3 Pro, Ender 3 V2, to make it into an enclosed machine that is a powerhouse with linear rails and such, I highly recommend this project. It was a fantastic build, and ultimately the functionality that I can get out of it now is far superior than the original configuration. This was a project that I actually self-sourced all the parts for, unlike the Voron V02 back there. That one I got as a kit, but this one I just went and sourced all the parts myself because I wanted to go through that process. Truth is, it ended up costing me more doing that, and it took more time because now I'm ordering from different suppliers in some cases, trying to find components. Some things don't come, some things I had to reorder. So yeah, there's a sense of pride in some ways to being like, I self-sourced this, but at the same time, it does extend your timeline for your build usually, unless you're really good about it, going through the BOM and then ordering everything you need from suppliers that will for sure deliver. But yeah, I digress from that. Ultimately, this is complete and it is a functional machine. Initially, most of the small components I did print on the little machine back there, the Voron V02, and the larger components, like things like the skirts and whatnot, I did print. It wasn't that at the time. It was an Ender 5 Pro. I'll get to that. I'll make a video about that too. Now it's a Mercury 1.1 with Hydra. At the time, when it was a Ender 5 Pro, I did print the larger components out of PETG on there because I didn't have a large enough enclosed build volume to do the ABS stuff. And once this machine was then complete, I ended up just reprinting all the ABS parts for it. So now this is a fully complete ABS machine. The red is Spectrum Filament's Dragon, I think it's Dragon Red, and then the silver is Silver Star from Spectrum. Their smart ABS line prints really well, and I just like the color combination. The silver and red kind of went nice with it. Looking on the inside here, we have, of course, a good old Voron Stealth Burner tool head, but this is with the Nomi V1. That's the non-touchscreen version, the first version of the Big Tree Tech one. Inside of here, there is a Big Tree Tech SB2209 toolhead board running on CAN bus, of course, and that's been fantastic. I'm really liking the CAN bus boards. And of course, you got your hot end fan in there. This is, I think it's a Triangle Lab Dragon standard flow. Nothing too fancy in there, but it certainly works for this application. If I got a higher flow rate one, I could probably push this even faster. But looking over here, I'm sure you saw the Nevermore V4s in my Voron V02. This is just a doubled version of it. So I have two of them. Printed this little adapter here so that I could put a Nevermore on either side. My theory was it's kind of like balance the airflow, and then hopefully there will be less effect on the bed. Ultimately, it seems to work very well. I don't smell the ABS, so that's a good thing. Going on down here, these are just knobs that I actually designed and printed those myself. Just using a heat set insert. I think it's just an M3 heat set insert in there. I found some red springs. I tried the silicone spacers for a while, but I just found that the silicone spacers were very finicky because it's like they only compress so much, and then if you have differential from one side to the other, the springs are just way better. So I just went back to springs on here, and now my bed leveling is even better. Oh, speaking of bed leveling, it's kind of hard to see, but in there's an inductive probe, kind of like, actually I have an example of it over here. This is an inductive probe. This is what you would probably see in some different types of industrial machines, just using them as stops, like X and Y stops, Z stops, and it's really low cost. It works great. So that's what I used in here. I just wired up to the 24 volt on the board, and it functions fantastic. Going on down here, we have a Big Tree Tech. That's the 3.5-inch touchscreen. Nice to have a little bit of functionality in there so that you can just do some of your basic things like your leveling, start prints, set temperatures, whatnot. I found the 3.5 is a little small, honestly, and that's why that one caught the much larger. I think that's the 5-inch touchscreen. I went for a bigger one there because, yeah, 3.5 is just a little small, but it does fit the aesthetic and the volume quite well. Underneath the hood, under here, can't really see it, but there's a Big Tree Tech Manta M5P board with a CB1. I really like the Big Tree Tech boards. Of course, I have one in my Voron V02. I have an M8P in there, and then I have an Octopus Pro in there. But yeah, I'm running the M5P in here. Stock power supply, I think it was just a 200-watt power supply. Oh, I just went to changed my LED profile. Yeah, I have LEDs up there. Just printed some shrouds for them, and I can take a walk around to the back. There's not as much to show on the back, other than I did make this panel magnetic so that you can just easily pull it off, and then you can get access there. So there's all these little magnets there, so that it just makes it easier. Yeah, easier to gain access if you ever so need to get back there, and then you can inspect things. Oh, look at that. That one's still PET G. Clearly, it's been a while since I pulled this machine apart, or rather turned it around, because this part is still PET G. Oh well, it still functions great because really it's just a support for the back of the skirt. Not a big deal. Yeah. But you can see a little bit more here that's going on in the back. There's not too much more that you can see or I can talk about here, because it's, yeah, most of it is formerly an Ender 3 V2. Now it's a Voron Switchwire, but it is a highly functional machine, and I'm really impressed with the conversion. So I've seen a few people say, oh, I have this Ender sitting around collecting dust. You know what? If you do, if you have the time and you're so inclined, I highly recommend doing something like this. You can get so much more functionality out of it. It is a fun project. Like, I really enjoy building them, so I would definitely recommend that. Oh, I guess the enclosure itself, that is panels that I got from MN Laser. I got the textured panels on the sides and top and the back, and then just some acrylic panels for the front enclosure type portion. So yeah, that's pretty much about it for the Voron Switchwire. If you have any questions about it, about the project, about the process of it, just ask. I can certainly try and answer them. And yeah, if you want to build one up yourself, definitely do it. And again, I'll post that link down below so that you can have direct access to that and you don't have to go searching. So yeah, thanks for checking this out. Cheers.